What's up? What's going on? Hey, it's Jotivation, aka Joe Moss, and I pray that you're having a great, wonderful day today. Listen, I'm also known as Coach Joe, and I do a lot of just life coaching, working with athletes, working with parents, working with coaches in order to help them become the best version of themselves. And I just wanted to bring up the topic that has been on my mind a lot lately. And it's the overworking of youth athletes. Now, some of us are familiar with this, some of us aren't, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure put on young athletes to perform these days. And the amount of pressure that is on some of these youth athletes is not one that they can handle. It's a it's a tough pressure, because sometimes what happens is that pressure can make diamonds, right? But at the same time, pressure can come back and just crush you to pieces, where you can't perform whatsoever, and you're hurt emotionally, and you're hurt mentally, and you're hurt in multiple areas of your life. But anyway, but as a coach and a parent, I see firsthand the pressure that is placed on young athletes to excel and perform at high levels. While competition and hard work are very important, right? It is also crucial to remember that these athletes are still just kids. They need time to rest, to play, and to just be kids. Overworking them can lead to burnout, injuries, and lack of enjoyment. In a sport that they may love to do, right? It's so important. So it's important to strike a balance and remember that their well-being should always come first. So let's make sure that we're supporting and nurturing our young athletes rather than pushing them to the brink. And so today I just want to talk a little bit about how to coach youth athletes to get the right support that they need in order to become the best version of themselves. And it's challenging. It's a tricky mix. As a father of an athlete, competing in the sport of wrestling, and being a wrestler, growing up a wrestler myself, it's a fine line between dad and being able to, be a coach and be there for your son. But the one thing that I've realized is that I'm dad first, period. And I've learned different ways to try to support him so that he can understand that I'm there for him, and that I'm here to kind of help him become the best version of himself, but also help him create this balance that's needed between work and rest and performance altogether. So today I just want to share with you 6 things, the best ways to support youth athletes that can't handle the pressure from the sport. This is tough. And as much as we believe that our young athletes are capable of doing all these amazing things, there are several ways that we can support our youth athletes, when they're struggling to be able to handle all the pressure. And one of the things that we can do is we can encourage a growth mindset. So we can help athletes develop a growth mindset by focusing on their improvement and progress rather than their results. Okay, we can encourage them to see challenges and setbacks as opportunities to learn and to grow. Sometimes we are so focused on winning that we miss all the steps and stages that help us become, or help us to receive the things that we're supposed to get while we're becoming this champion, or while we're striving to win. Because, winning is not the only thing. It's who we become in the process while we're trying to obtain these things. And if we don't keep this at the forefront, we'll just be results driven. And that's it. And so if it goes great for us, we're happy. If it doesn't go great for us, or we don't get the win or the W or whatever you want to call it, now everything is horrible. Well, you could have did some great things and still lost. The outcomes might not have been favorable for what you're looking for, but you still might have still been a good thing. So we want to encourage a growth mindset where, okay, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks, but we want to look at those as opportunities to learn and to grow. Number 2 is that we want to teach stress management skills. So it's important for athletes to be able to manage stress and their mental well-being, right? So we want to teach them techniques such as deep breathing and visualization and positive self-talk to help cope, with the pressures of their sport. So like one of the breathing techniques that I use is something called box breathing. And it's not anything that I made up. I actually learned it from one of the Navy SEALs that I follow. And it's something called box breathing. And what they do is that they inhale for 5 seconds. Okay. They hold that breath in for 5 seconds. They exhale for 5 seconds, and then they hold that breath out for 5 seconds, creating this box. Inhale, hold it in, exhale, hold it out. And it becomes like this box breathing. And you want to be able to do this in a rhythmic way. And I tell you what, it helps with everything else. It helps with relaxation. It helps with focus. And I think that, and also one of the biggest things, what we're talking about right now, is it helps the athlete be able to manage stress. And so we want to be able to do those things. At the same time, I mentioned positive self-talk, where you're saying good things about yourself. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you're out on the field or out on the court, or you're in a match or something like that, and you make a mistake and it costs you some points. Now all of a sudden you are talking bad about yourself. You're like all over yourself, like, oh, I'm the worst person. Oh, I'm terrible. I shouldn't have did this. I shouldn't have did that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, no. What are you doing? You should at least be, doing the best to be able to take care of yourself. I mean, from that aspect, don't kick your own self while you're down. So the one you got to understand, and the one thing that you have to know, is that you hear everything that you say. Like everything that you say, everything that you do, like it literally, you're going to hear it. Right? So if we're sitting here right now and we get silent, and I say, I ask you to say your name without actually verbally saying it, you will hear yourself say your name without even hearing it from an audible, sound point. And that's just the thing about it. Like, everything you think and everything you say to yourself can be potentially affect you in some type of way. So if it's negative, it could be detrimental. So let's learn how to work on these stress management skills and be able to create an opportunity for some positive self-talk so you can keep yourself rocking and rolling. You can keep yourself going. Number 3 is that we want to be able to offer emotional support. Okay. So when I say emotional support, we want to be available to listen and offer our athletes support, especially when they're feeling overwhelmed or overstressed. And we want to let them know that it's okay to express their emotions, and that, that they are, that we're here to support them. it's, I find out that, when I used to do a lot of coaching back when a strength conditioning coach, I would find that certain athletes had these different buttons that you could press, right? To get the most performance out of them. And sometimes you could raise your voice just a little bit more stern and they would rise to the occasion. Sometimes that happens with an athlete and they sink down into a hole and you won't get any performance out of them. So you have to know who you're working with. You have to know who you're dealing with. But when it comes to some of these athletes, we got to let them know that, like, listen, it's okay. I understand that you might have an overwhelming day. You might be super stressed out, but we're here to listen and help you to become, the better version of yourself by knowing how to use your emotions, appropriately. And that's huge, because, you can have a student athlete that is a straight A student and he gets a bad grade in class, doesn't do well on a test. And that literally could affect his performance later. Now, he didn't lose any of his skills. He didn't lose any of his strength. He didn't even lose any of his knowledge of sport. But if he's emotionally overwhelmed, okay, with doing bad on that test, you're not gonna get the performance out of him. And if you as a coach or a parent don't recognize some of these things that are going on, we might look at the situation and get frustrated or something in that regards, and really dig into this person, and they're already down. Really, they just need some support at this moment and at this time. Number 4, this is important because we want to be able to help them set realistic goals. We want to work with athletes to set realistic goals for them and their performance. Okay? This can help them feel more in control and less overwhelmed. Now listen, I'm going to say this, and I want every parent to listen. I want every coach to listen. I want every athlete to hear this. Okay? Everybody is not going to be a professional athlete. Listen, I understand that you're working hard. I understand that you have this dream to play in the NFL or NBA or NHL or something in that regards. Everybody's not going to be a professional athlete. Everyone is not designed to be a professional athlete. You got to understand that there is something called an elite level. Now, when I say set realistic goals, you have to set realistic goals, and it may not necessarily line up with who you are for you to set a goal of going to the NFL. Okay. And I'm not listen, I'm not trying to bust your bubble. I'm not trying to, to tell you not to dream, but there are certain indications and things that could lead to that. Certain indications that can tell you whether or not that's even can begin to be a possibility. If I'm 5'8", I graduated high school. I think I was 100 and maybe 60 pounds when I graduated, and I played middle linebacker in school. So the likelihood of even being recruited as a linebacker to play Division I football at 5'8" and 160 pounds is slim to none. Okay. And, and I'm not saying that you can't dream, but you also have to set realistic goals in the sense that, okay, well, in the event that this Division I offer or the Division I offer doesn't come, or in the event that, we have to go another route or pivot to somewhere else or do something different, that I'm okay with that. And it's not the end of the world because this particular thing didn't work out the way that I dreamt it to, or this particular thing didn't work out because I wanted it to, or because my dad said I'm the best, that now I believe I'm the best. Well, no, that doesn't mean that. Like, it really doesn't mean that you're the best because, your dad said that you're the best or anything in that regard. So we got to be careful when it comes to those certain things, that will be set realistic goals so we can have some type of sense of accomplishment, right? Look at the criteria and the average of where people come from when they go to the professional level and what they do to get there, and look at that path. And if you're not on that path whatsoever, you gotta have to look at some, you might have to start looking at some other ways or some other choices in life in that regards. And it's just the truth of the matter. Like, it's as the higher you go on these different levels, the more challenging it becomes, right? And that's just the way it is. So set realistic goals. Set some things that that you can actually reach, that will actually that you believe that you can actually get to the level of that type of performance, so you can feel more in control and less overwhelmed. Number 5, you want to encourage healthy habits. So you want to help athletes develop healthy habits such as getting enough rest or sleep, eating well, and maintaining a healthy balance between their sport and other activities, right? So if I live, breathe, sleep, wrestling, right? And it's okay to be somewhat obsessed with it. Okay, because and to be great at anything, you have to spend time, you have to practice, you have to put the extra effort in, and you have to live a certain lifestyle in order to really get to that place. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but at the same time, you got to do it in a healthy way. Okay, I mean, so if you're going to be working hard, you better make sure that you're resting hard too. If you're going to be performing and putting out all this energy, you better make sure that you're putting the right nutrients into your system, right? And if you're going to be playing sports to the max, make sure that you balance it out with all the relationships and things that are going on in your life. Create a balance. You don't want to be lopsided. You don't want to be so far gone that you can't function in life. Because remember, you're still young. We're still kids. And there still needs to be some type of balance because, God forbid that something happened to you and the very sport that you fell in love with is taken away from you. Now what? Now what do you do? Okay? Now what happens? Now do you throw everything away? Do you see yourself as worthless now because now your sport's not working out? And this is what we're talking about. We want to encourage healthy habits. And when we talk about healthy habits, we're not just talking from a physical standpoint. We also mean from an emotional area as well, so that it's not too much. It's not too much. You want to make sure you're putting yourself in the best position to be the best version of yourself. And number 6 is that we also want to provide opportunities for mental breaks. And so it's important for athletes to take mental breaks from their sport to recharge and to refocus. So we want to encourage them to engage in activities that allow them to relax and recharge, such as hobbies or spending time with friends and family. Now, when you're obsessed with something, this is very difficult to do. To rest and relax and recharge and to look a different direction and spend time with family and friends. But you know what? You need it. It is required for your overall health and well-being so that you don't have some type of breakdown. Like literally, I don't want to see another person, go in a direction and cause some type of harm to themselves because it's too much pressure. because they're just overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Like, enough is enough. Like you want to get on top of creating an environment so that you're healthy. You're healthy. But if you don't give yourself time away from doing what you love, spending time with the people that love you, friends and family, and engage in activities that allow you to relax in a positive way, it could be detrimental. It truly can, you know? So like I said, we want to be in a position where we're able to support our youth athletes, especially when it comes to being able to handle the pressure from their sport. And we have to do this as parents. We have to do this as coaches. We want to be to encourage a growth mindset. We want to teach stress management skills. We want to offer emotional support. We want to help them set realistic goals. We want to help them also. We want to encourage them to have a healthy, to live with healthy habits, and also provide opportunities for mental breaks. We can do this. I know we can. I can't do it by myself, but I know that all of us working together will be able to, spread some good love out there, spread some wisdom, some knowledge, so that we can keep our youth athletes around much longer than what they're lasting right now. Pressure's tough, and some of them can handle it, some of them can't. But I think that through amongst our support as a parent, as a coach, as a grandparent, as a teacher, as a teammate, I think we can provide better support. And so I just want to encourage you to be the best you in everything you do, every day and in every way. Much love to you. Until next time, Jotivation. I'm out. Peace.